What? Sorry. What is up, my beautiful fan fam? Welcome in. Welcome in. This is your AFC Eastie boys, and this is your hostess with the mostest. That's right. And we got some breaking news coming soon. Well, it's kind of already here. We called it. Yesterday, Jeff Hafley had an interview with Rich Eisen. It was a great interview. I suggest if you guys have not had the chance to check it out, please go check it out because it was really good. Rich Eisen was able to get some good info out of Jeff Hafley, and some of that info being the fact that we should see all three coordinators filled this weekend. And we're already seeing it, right? Adam Schefter reported yesterday that Chris Tabor, special teams coordinator from the Buffalo Bills, is expected to be signing with the Miami Dolphins. We got news today that Bobby Slowick is going to be getting promoted and become the OC of the Miami Dolphins. And this I really like. I've been pushing for this guy since last year when he first joined the team. So I'm super excited for that. So now, who's going to be our DC? That's the question, right? Who's going to be the DC? And we're going to talk about it because the Pittsburgh Steelers were pretty much the front runners for Anthony Weaver, and they just announced today that their new head coach is going to be Mike McCarthy. So that leaves questions around Anthony Weaver because I don't see him landing a head coaching job anywhere else unless maybe he decides to take the Cleveland Browns job that nobody wants. That'd be the only thing left. And we kind of do want him to get a head coaching job because then we get picks for it. So I'm kind of hoping he lands a job somewhere because I really don't. We don't necessarily want him as our DC again this year, right? We want Jeff Hafley to go ahead and pick himself a guy, and we're gonna go over that. We had the presser on Thursday was pretty great. A lot of emotions. We're gonna go over that. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you got the Discord link on our profile page. Go ahead and join the Discord and then join in on the tavern. And you can join in on the conversation as well as we talk about the next steps for the Miami Dolphins as we get all of our head positions filled, right? All our coaching positions filled, our coordinator positions filled. We got the GM in the building. We got kind of a direction that we want to go. Now it's a question of players, draft, and culture. Like, they are expecting to build a culture. So what's that going to look like? What's the landscape going to look like for the Miami Dolphins going through this offseason? Jeff Hafley said in that interview with Rich Eisen that there will be a competition. There will be competitions between quarterbacks. There will be competitions between players that are already on the team and players that they plan on bringing in. So it's a very open statement, right? It's a very open statement because it could mean a lot.
All right, football fans, listen up. Forget the trade deadline, forget the free agency frenzy, because we have the most important piece of NFL news you will hear all season.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways. A very open statement, meaning there's going to be competition between the players we have, and we're going to be bringing players in. Does that mean that Jeff Hafley plans on drafting a quarterback? well, in the presser, they kind of did say that they planned on drafting a quarterback every year or at least every other year. Or does that mean that Jeff Hafley's going to really pursue a quarterback, a fill-in bridge quarterback like a guy like Malik Willis, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not really high on that. Yes, do I think he's better than the quarterbacks that we have on the team? Possibly. Most likely, yes, but will it be better for the team? Because Malik Willis is going to be asking for at least $20 million a year. Does he? I don't think he's worth $20 million a year. Like, the sample size isn't big enough, in my opinion, for the cap hell that we're already in to be going and spending that type of money on a guy that we only plan on having for a year or two anyways. Because, I mean, let's all be serious, right? These guys know that they plan on drafting high for a franchise quarterback in 2027. That doesn't mean that we can't still draft a quarterback in 2026 and take a shot on a flyer in the 4th or 5th round. I did a mock draft the other night. Y'all should go check it out. I put it up on my Twitter space. You can also find it up in our posts as well. I do want y'all to go check it out. Let me know what y'all think about it. Because I do plan on doing more. We'll do some live mock drafts in the coming weeks. But basically, with the mock draft that I did the other night, basically traded with Arizona, traded out of the 11th spot, right? So I traded our first round pick away to get 2 other picks within the top 100, as well as 2 picks for 2027. So it would be a 2nd round and a 3rd round pick in 2027. So, because I looked through the players that were available in the 1st round as far as the players that we would need and the players that I feel like they would be going after. And yeah, there's some good players there, but with the cap hell that we're in right now, with 30 players hitting free agency this year, we gotta build through the draft. Let's be honest, we got to build through the draft, and the only way to do that is by getting as much draft capital as possible, as much of it. What's good, Cat? Glad you joined in. But yes, we need to get as much draft capital as possible. If we could fill 10 players through the draft this year, we need to do that because we have so many free agents. And we still need to free up $27.5 million just to hit the salary cap for next year. Yes, every team's salary cap is going to go up. It's gone up on average about $21 to $23 million per year. So I expect it to go up another $20 to $23 million next year. But that still leaves another $6 to $9 million that the Miami Dolphins have to free up. And how are they going to do that? Well, I mean, like, they're going to end up having to cut some of these players that we really like Tyreek Hill, unfortunately. Bradley Chubb's most likely going to have to go. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work this cap hell that we're in, but we have the toughest schedule, the 2nd toughest schedule going into next year, and that's my mic is very low. Hold on. Mic check. Mic. Could also be my voice, bruh. It could also be my voice. I like to talk really low, deep voice, trying to be sexy for the peoples out there. You know, all them females that love watching the AFC Eastieeboys. Tune in. Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyways, So our biggest challenge is going to be definitely battling this cap hell. But I have a lot of faith that these guys are going to come in and they're going to do really well. John Eric Sullivan spent his whole career in Green Bay, right? 22 years he spent in Green Bay. 22 years. The whole time, this whole football career he spent in Green Bay in basically one position. Player personnel, player evaluation, scouting, so on and so forth. All basically the same thing. And we can look at the Green Bay Packers and we can look at that organization and we could see clearly that no, they don't draft your big superstars, right? Because in order to draft your big superstars, you kind of end up, let's be honest, right? You're going to be hurting in other places because to get those big superstars, you got to give up draft picks, you got to do this, and you end up hurting in other areas. So you can only get a couple pieces in that are really superstars. So if you look at the Green Bay Packers, no, they don't have a lot of superstars, but they're even throughout the whole team. Like, they don't go out and just fill the team with 4 superstars and then a bunch of scrubs around it to make it look like it's a great team. They fill it out evenly. You get a bunch of Bs on the team, maybe an A or 2 on the team, and you have a pretty decent squad rather than having 4 As, 3 Ds, an F, a C, 2 Bs, etc. If you get what I'm saying. Yes, I'm excited about this whole process too. It's definitely going to be a really fun off season this year for us Dolphin fans. Like, I think we actually have a reason to be excited, right? I mean, we've been under the same regime for the last 2.5 decades, and yes, we've seen different coaches come in. Yes, we've seen different coaches come in. We've seen different quarterbacks. We've seen this. We've seen that. But it's like it's all been under one kind of umbrella the whole time, right? You know, we've had one same culture because we got to be real. We got to be honest. Chris Greer basically built the culture that we've been seeing for the last 5 to 7 years. Because he's been in this he was in this organization for 2.5 decades. He worked his way up this organization. Yes, we are hiring our coordinators now. Jeff Halfley had an interview with Rich Eisen yesterday. It was a great interview. I really suggest everybody go check that out for sure. Rich Eisen does really good interviews. He really knows how to talk to people. So y'all definitely need to go check that out. Jeff Halfley said that we should have all 3 of our coordinators in place by the weekend. He said that we're really close and we'll have them all. So it started yesterday, right? Chris Tabor. Sources say that Chris Tabor is going to be our special teams coordinator. He is from Buffalo Bills, and he's going to most likely end up as the special teams coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. And then I called this last year. I called this one last year. Our OC. I was fighting for this guy last year, Bobby Slowick. It was about 2 hours ago. Adam Schefter posted that Bobby Slowick is most likely going to end up on the Miami Dolphins as an OC. He did have an interview with the Eagles. I was hoping that it didn't go well. I was hoping that he didn't get the job because I have been fighting for Bobby Slowick. And I like Bobby Slowick because if you go back and you look through his career, he's kind of done the same thing. He's spent a couple years here. He spent a couple years here and there in different areas, just basically working his way up the ranks. And then before he came to the Miami Dolphins last year, he was with the Houston Texans for 2 years. So he came into the Houston Texans as their offensive coordinator the same year that C.J. Stroud got drafted and the same year that DeMeco Ryans came in as their head coach. I know, I am so happy for it. And you could basically see the difference, right? So those 2 years, the Houston Texans were really good. They came out, they were hot, they made the playoffs both year. One of the year they went to the AFC Championship, and they were really good. And then Bobby Slowick comes here to Miami last year. And what did the Houston Texans look like? If they had an offensive coordinator, if they still had Bobby Slowick, let's look at it like this. If they still had Bobby Slowick, it would be a Broncos Texans AFC Championship tomorrow and not a Broncos Patriots AFC Championship tomorrow. That's how big of a deal Bobby Slowick was, and now he's going to be here. And this is why we can be excited as Dolphin fans. Because we're starting fresh, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting fresh, and so far from I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing a lot of research on guys. So far, these Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan are doing the right thing. Well, to start, it was John Eric Sullivan, right? By bringing in Jeff Hafley. I think he was the right guy for the job. I went back, I wasn't too excited about it at first, but I went back and I looked in on his career, and I checked out his time at Boston College and what they were able to do there. And another thing too, during the presser, they were talking about how he slept on his desk for 2 years. That takes courage. And I'm not gonna lie too, there's a lot of people giving these guys crap about getting emotional during their pressers. I'm an emotional guy too. You know where the emotion comes from? It comes from passion. Emotion comes from passion. That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength, because you're comfortable enough in your own skin to be able to show those feelings. Show that you have the passion for this job. Show that you have the passion to turn this team into a winning organization. What did John Eric Sullivan say? This team has a story behind it. This team is great. It has a legacy. And we need to get this team back to that. And that's why us Dolphin fans, we have such a great offseason to look forward to. 2026, no, it may not be the best. It may not be the best, but you know what? The journey is going to be the greatest that we've had in a long time. We're going to see these moves happen, and yes, there's going to be people that are upset about some of the moves that happen. Yeah, that's going to happen. You can't make everybody happy. But when we're able to start actually competing for the AFC East in the next year or two, and they start seeing the result of the product that these guys are doing, even though you may not agree with it at times, it's going to come to a point where we are relevant again, ladies and gentlemen, where we could be excited about waking up on a Sunday to watch our Miami Dolphins play some football. I can't wait. I can't wait. Make sure y'all smash that like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new here, trust me, you're gonna love the content that we put out. We also have a Discord too. If you want to join into the Discord conversation, you want to hop up here and give your thoughts and give your opinions on the state of the Miami Dolphins right now. You can find our Discord link in our profile page. You can go ahead and hop up in here and share your thoughts. Speak your mind. Tell us how you feel. Tell us how excited you are, or how unexcited you are. I'd love to hear other people's opinions, because that's the best way you learn, right? Is by having conversations with others, getting to see their point of view, their perspective, because I may be seeing it from one side of the lens. We are going to return to glory. We are going to return to glory. That is for sure. May not be next year, because like I said, we have a really tough schedule next year. The second toughest schedule of the league. But that could also change, right? That could also easily change. It was labeled the second toughest schedule before the Kansas City Chiefs fell apart. But I do think they're going to be good again next year. They hired Eric Bieniemy, but what if the Buffalo Bills fall apart next year? right? They have a new head coach. What if they fall apart? What if they're not the same team that they were? So that's 2 games out of our schedule that they're considering tough. The New England Patriots, what if they're sparkle? You know, they're this year was just a fluke, and what if they come out next year and look like they did last year? That's 2 games that are supposed to be tough on our schedule that could be not tough. So it's like, yes, we do have the second hardest schedule next year, but that could easily turn into the 10th hardest schedule, depending on how some of these teams come out next year. Like the Baltimore Ravens are on our schedule. Cincinnati Bengals. Like, yeah, we have tough teams, but we don't know what they're going to look like next year. Buffalo Bills can be a completely different team. Like I said, the New England Patriots, this year could have been a fluke. But having a tough schedule like that is easy to sell a tank here, right? It's easy to sell a tank to a new coach and a new GM coming in. Not saying that we are tanking. I'm just saying that, like, if we do, it's easy this year to do it, and we don't even really have to try, and we can still go out there and have fun and put up points. Play football like the Dallas Cowboys played football last year, right? Like, imagine if we were losing like the Dallas Cowboys were losing. 35-point games, losing by a field goal, but you're scoring 35 points. I wouldn't mind losing like that. But I do wanna go back through some of the presser. I didn't get to hear any of the questions that they were asked, so I'm gonna run through it real quick.
I'm very excited to be here today as we really, what I hope, starts a new beginning. I know many of you are all frustrated over the last few years with the performance of the team, but I got to tell you, I am equally frustrated. And therefore, you know, when I first bought the team, I said certain things that I would do and what were excuse me, and what were important to me. One was establishing a winning football team that played for Super Bowls on a continual basis. The second was to really make this team and this county much better, to bring it together and have an obligation to really be supportive of the county and really be the best-in-class football organization. I think we've accomplished 2 of those things. But the frustration, and probably what everybody looks to in the Miami Dolphins, is about winning football. That's the way I live. That's the way I believe in. And I believe that's the only way you do business. There's only room in one place. It's at the top. So the rest of it is very crowded.
Oh, wow.
And so the frustrations, I know that you've all had, reading the newspapers, which I don't read anymore, because it just emphasizes to me the frustration that I have. So I really look to this to really be a new beginning. And we've done it in getting ready for that. You know, you could see what was happening during the season. We started early, and really so that we could be very thorough in our search in trying to find the right people to lead this organization. And I'd like to, first of all, thank the people that really worked, you know, tirelessly in talking, thinking, working together. I'd like to thank, it was really headed up with Tom Garfinkel and Danny Silman, Brandon Shore, Dan Marino, and Troy Aikman. And we were able to really use the knowledge that they all had in really trying to find the best leadership for this team going forward. And we really were very thorough, knowing what we were going about. And you know, when you really look and think about people, you want to get people who are winners, people who came from winning organizations, so they know what winning is. You know, it was like, I guess probably the greatest remark is that winning is important, or winning isn't the only thing, the Vince Lombardi line, it's the only thing. And so having that kind of ideas, because that's what these people really believe in, really led us on our search. We're very, very thorough in reviewing who was available, what people thought of them, what their backgrounds were. And I think, you know, by doing that, we were really in a position to really be able to pick the coach that we thought would be the best. But we first started with the general manager, which we had some time. And one person clearly stood out. I mean, the experience he had, and having really been part of winning organizations, Super Bowls, but his enthusiasm for the game and his knowledge of the game and the knowledge of how the league works and what it takes to create a winner stood out far and above anybody we spoke to. I know the first conversation we could have with him was via Zoom, and I think into about 10 minutes into it, I just said, hey, this is our guy. And I'm very, very thrilled to really, you know, welcome John Eric Sullivan as our general manager. And then we had to go out and find the coach, you know, and I thought maybe he would really be partial to, you know, the Green Bay Packers, but we really totally thorough, and he was totally objective. And after interviewing, talking to people, they were all really great candidates. I think the enthusiasm, the knowledge, the background, Jeff stood out amongst them all. So we were really fortunate that he was available. We made our decision early. As you know, there are many openings this year, probably more than ever before. And I'm very happy to be standing today knowing we got who we wanted and that the rest of the teams are still looking. So we are now preparing, really getting ready immediately to really fulfill the ideas. What we all want to see is a new generation of winning football games and being very, very competitive. So with that, I'd like to introduce John Eric.
John Eric. He either likes to go by John Eric or Sully or JES. I will be referring to him as Sully. So just so you guys know, that's what I'm gonna be referring to him as. He's gonna be Sully in my book. I wanted the Mike and Sully memes to happen, but that's not gonna happen.
The boss is calling you.
I think she wants you over there. Good job.
You want me to stand here? Oh, it's over there. Oh, okay, I'm done. All right.
TurboTax and file your own taxes free in the app if you didn't file with us last year.
Good morning to everyone. Appreciate everybody being here. I think before I even get started, the most important thing is for me to express gratitude, and it starts with the Ross family, especially Stephen. You have bestowed upon me an opportunity of a lifetime. I will be forever grateful. The magnitude and responsibility of what lies before me in this role does not fall short on me. I will go to work every day and work tirelessly along with the other great people in the building, the leadership committee, to bring you the winner that you deserve. To the search committee, Danny, Tom, Brandon, Troy, your wisdom, your guidance, your communication throughout the process was invaluable to me and this organization. I can't thank you enough. It was a long road, but it was a very productive and fruitful road, and I think we ended up where we needed to be. So thank you. Saying that, it was a nice look under the hood for me in terms of the collaboration and the work ethic and the communication that will allow us to do a lot of really excellent things together down the road. To the Packers organization, I said I wouldn't do this. I was very, very, very lucky to land where I landed 22 years ago. Very lucky to be mentored by some of the best in the business. Phenomenal people that happen to also be excellent with what they did in their profession. I was very fortunate to be entrenched in a process, a proven process that brought 30 years of sustained success to that place, and that others have left and gone on to have success around the National Football League with. John Schneider, John Dorsey, Reggie McKenzie. If you do your homework, you see what this process will bring to the table when the opportunity presents itself to implement it. I have to start with Mark Hatley. He's the one that hired me. God rest his soul. We didn't have a chance to work.
And before we go too far into this, I just want to point out that Dan Marino himself tried to get us into this Green Bay style system before he retired. He actually unretired twice and tried to convince the Miami Dolphins to draft quarterbacks for him to train under him for a couple years so that he could get the Dolphins in a good spot, in a winning situation to where they just have a revolving door of good quarterback after good quarterback after good quarterback. And this is what this is what Sully is talking about right now, right? He's been in an organization where you just see greatness. How in the last 22 years, in the last 30 years, how many times do you see the Green Bay Packers relevantly in the playoffs? At least 20 of those 30 years, right? How many Super Bowl appearances? This is what they're talking about, a winning organization, and they're going to bring it here. And this is why us Dolphin fans have a reason to be fired up. Go ahead and put them fire emojis down in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
Together long, but he brought me through the door. Obviously, I'm not standing here today without him. Ted Thompson, in my opinion, is one of the best to ever do it. He was a guy that was seen, not heard. He trusted the process, and more importantly, he trusted the process through times of adversity. He never wavered. We will implement that here, that same thought process, that same conviction with how we move and work every day. The thing that I will take away from him most importantly is beyond anything, he always did what is best for the team. I will not stand up here and make a whole lot of promises today, but the one thing I will tell you, and I think is vitally important for everybody to know, especially the players that are here, every decision that falls within my line of responsibility will be what's best for the Miami Dolphins, unequivocally. It'll never be about personal relationships or personal agendas. It'll be what's best for this place, the greater good. Brian Gutekunst was.
Now, we got to keep an eye on that statement right there, right? We definitely need to keep an eye on that statement right there because he now doubled down on that, because he also said that same thing when he had the interview with Travis Wingfield last week before he hired Jeff Hafley. So let's keep an eye on that statement right there. We'll pin that statement and we'll address it again before the season starts, right? Because we gotta check out the moves that the dude makes before we go making any kind of judgment. But that's a very big statement that he's saying. He's not going to build this team off personal preferences, but he's going to be making moves that are better for the team, that are the best for the team. And a lot of people gave him crap about that with the Jeff Hafley hiring, right? But turns out Jeff Hafley Jeff Hafley probably is the best guy for the job, and let's address that, right? So we talked about this because we were live when Jeff Hafley was getting hired. I knew he was going to get hired, so I made sure we were live, and we were talking about it. And one of the things is, like, I was kind of on the boat, like, we should wait, right? We should wait. We should do our due diligence and go through all of our interview process, because we still had 2 more coaches that we wanted to do second interviews with, that being Chris Shula and Clint Kubiak, who we still had to wait for because they were in championship games. So I was like, oh, we should wait. That way we know we're getting the best guy out there and not just the best guy available at the time. But at the same time, if we waited, all right, so let's imagine we did wait and we didn't hire Jeff Hafley, and we're still coachless right now because we're waiting to do our second interviews with Chris Shula and Clint Kubiak. So we wait, and next week we have interviews with one of them, right? Because one of them will lose this weekend and one of them will win. So we'd be able to have an interview with one of them. So we wait, just to come to find out he never had intentions of coming here anyways. So, and by this point, Jeff Hafley is already hired by the Tennessee Titans because he's like, I can't keep waiting. I need to get on a team and get in and start making moves now. What's up, Liz? Thanks for stopping by. How are you doing today? So what if we did wait, right? And we waited for either Chris Shula or Clint Kubiak, and then we find out neither one of them were planning on coming here. So now we missed out on Jeff Hafley because he already signed a contract with another team, because he's not waiting. He needs to get things done. He needs to make moves for his family and his future. So he takes the job at Tennessee, and now the Miami Dolphins are stuck with what? Leftovers, right? We could have ended up being stuck with Anthony Weaver, having to upgrade Anthony Weaver, and then what would the Dolphins fan base look like? What would the Dolphins fan base be saying right now had we awaited, and turns out we don't get either of the guys we were waiting for, and Jeff Hafley slips through the cracks, and we're left with just leftovers. Everybody's seconds. Everybody's, yeah. So, like I said, this is a good place to pinpoint and make sure that we keep an eye on it, because in the future, with the future moves that he makes, whether they're personal or whether they're the best thing for the team, we will definitely be looking at all his moves with a microscope.
Probably who had the most impact on me because of how our careers fell. I was always kind of chasing Brian. He was a Southeast scout, then I was a Southeast scout, then he was the college director, then I was the college director, and so on and so forth. Having said that, he was a tremendous sounding board for me all the way through. His belief and faith in me, I can never repay.
Yes, Liz, for us it is the 2026-2027 season already, right? Because we're in the off season.
All right, football fans, listen up. Forget the trade deadline, forget the free agency frenzy, because we have the most important piece of NFL news you will hear all season.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Commissary.
Like and subscribe anyways. Like and subscribe anyways.
I can be bad with names sometimes, so don't hold it against me.
Him for, and I'm grateful for the relationship. He's one of the best in the business. The thing that he showed me and taught me is preparation. Player acquisition it's an everyday 365-day-a-year job. It does not stop, and you have to be prepared and ready to strike when the opportunity presents itself. We will move with responsible aggression here. We will utilize every avenue of player acquisition to bolster this roster. And working with him and alongside of him has showed me how to do that at a high level, and I think that will benefit this place as we move forward. Mark Murphy and Ed Policy, the two presidents in my time there, I cannot thank you enough for the support and the guidance, and I'm just very appreciative for the longevity that you allowed me to have within the organization. To my greatest mentor, my father. My dad's a 30-year NFL coach, or close to it, longtime college coach before that. He allowed me to see the game at a very high level at a very young age, which gave me pedigree that has gotten me to where I am today. No shot I'm standing here without him. Words will never do it justice, but thank you. And then obviously my family. This isn't possible without you. I'm gonna get beat up in the media before I even start. Like, this guy couldn't keep it together. Being a dad.
Don't worry, Sully, bro. I totally understand. Like I said, it is not a bad thing. It is not a sign of weakness to show your emotions, to show that you're comfortable in your own skin. It's not a reason for him to get beat up in the media. I commend it. It shows that he has passion for what he's doing, and he really is bought in. And we should be excited for it. We should be embracing the emotions that he's showing us right now.
Add to you, Samantha, you, CC, you, Mia, and then a husband to you, Jen, is the greatest honor of my life. Regardless, whatever we accomplish in this profession, nothing ever trumps that, so just know that. In my short time here with ownership and the leadership, I can sense a burning desire to win and do things the right way. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't take it lightly that I've been put in this position, and every day that I walk through those doors, I, along with the other great people in this building, will make sure that we do everything possible to bring you and your family, Stephen, the winner that you deserve. The goal is simple. It's a standard of excellence. We're chasing championships. It's as simple as that. This is a tough business. It is not a complicated business, in my opinion. And the things that we do day in and day out, the little things, will get us where we want to go. Together, we will implement a proven process. We'll build something special, but we'll build something that is sustainable over time. It's not going to be an easy road, but I think the journey is well worth going on, and we will do it together, and we will achieve together. And when we get to the end of this thing and we hoist that trophy, we'll realize that we started at the bottom, we fought our way to the top, and it'll be one of the more special moments of all of our lives. I have no doubt that we will get there.
And, oh, stupid ad. And he's 100% correct on that, right? It'll be one of the most special moments of all of our lives. Everyone, I'm pretty sure every one of us here, it will be a very special moment. And you think these guys...
The pillars will be a draft and develop philosophy. I've already...
You think these guys are showing emotion now? We're all going to be showing emotions like that when it finally happens, right? When we finally get to hoist that Lombardi trophy and we're finally Super Bowl champions. I'll tell you what, I'll be crying. I've been a Finn fan since I was 7 years old. It's 30 years. 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. 7 years old is when I became a Finn fan. I remember going with my grandpa.
Spoken on that in previous interviews. But we will draft, develop, and retain our own. There are things that come with that. Number one is culture. When you raise your own,
yeah, you definitely
people are
like
vested.
The content.
They're
Make
bought
sure you
in.
Smash that subscribe button.
There's a financial component to it with rookie contracts. It keeps you in a healthy cap situation. But the most important thing is the culture piece of it. Free agency, we will be very intentional and deliberate how we move about that. We will definitely utilize it when we get into a healthy cap situation, and we can. But we'll be disciplined, we'll be intentional, and we will chase difference makers that add value to the field immediately, but also add value to our locker room in terms of the kind of culture that we want to build. It's my job to turn over every rock within the player acquisition game, if you will. We will utilize every avenue, and the most important thing that I want everybody to take away today is we will bring in the right kind of people. I've said many a times, Miami is a very attractive place to come and play football. It's an attractive place to work. But if you don't infuse this locker room with the right kind of people, it can be a distraction in a hurry. That is our job as a personnel staff, to give Coach Hafley the kind of guys that want to chase championships, that are selfless, that are mentally and physically tough, who have a burning desire to be the best football players that they can be. Jeff Hafley, I can tell you today, you've got a phenomenal human being who is an excellent football coach. This process was thorough. We spoke with a lot of very, very talented coaches who brought a lot to the table. And it was a great process because in speaking with all of them, it just confirmed my conviction on that this was the right guy. I got to watch him work for 2 years. Jeff is a friend of mine. We've become friendly over the last 2 years, but understand this hire was based on professional respect. I watched him day in and day out connect with players. I watched his ability to teach. I've watched his ability to inspire, and I've watched the intellect and the organization and how people, coaches and players around the building, buy into him. He will bring discipline and accountability, not only to his players, but to his coaching staff. Coaches will have to teach.
Which, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, that's probably the biggest thing we need in the Miami Dolphins coach right now, right? Somebody that's going to come in here and instill authority, accountability. Somebody who's going to come in here and these players are going to look up to and respect. Because we can all be honest. As great as Mike McDaniel was in certain areas, the one thing he never had and the one thing he was never going to get was respect from the locker room. Unfortunately, the way that he came in and presented himself and held himself in the beginning was just, it wasn't the right way to go about it. Like, it was cool idea, Mike. You know, I'm glad that you tried it because you kind of showed us that it wasn't the right idea and there wasn't the right way to do things. You know, coming in here and being a player's coach and not a coach's coach. You know, being all buddy and friendly with the players. It got to a point where it was costing the team. It essentially cost him his job, right? You know, one year we had players just showing up late to practices or not showing up, and there was no accountability, no repercussions. Like, it just seemed like Miami Dolphins organization was kind of the hangout of the whole league. You come here, it's like, yeah, we got to work, but at the same time, like, we don't work. You know, we kind of just do what we do. We have fun, show up when we want to, and then at the end of the day, you know, there it is. But you can't tell me that this guy doesn't have you fired up right now. You can't tell me that this guy doesn't have you fired up for the 2026 season and beyond, moving forward. Because you know we're going to have this guy for at least 6 years. At least 6 years. Because that's just how Ross works. It's not going to be, oh, we're going to give him a year or two and then he's going to get fired. No, because we're in the position right now where we know it's not a year turnaround. Might not even be a 2-year turnaround. It could be if we hit the draft properly. Like I said, I put out some mock drafts. I plan on doing more mock drafts. Definitely want you guys to go on our post page and check out that mock draft I did. Let me know y'all's opinions on it. Because I feel like I did a good job. I feel like I hit all of the pieces that we needed, and I hope that John Eric Sully checks it out and takes some of the players into consideration, because I did some research, and all the offensive line guys that I picked are versatile, meaning that they can be used in various areas of the offensive line, which is what you want. That's what you want, right? Because if somebody goes down, you have somebody to just slide over, and then you can fill that guy in, and it makes for a smooth transition. This guy got me fired up, man. These guys got me fired up. Put them fire emojis down in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
That is vitally important. We're aligned in terms of player development. I told you, we're going to draft, we're going to develop, we're going to retain our own. But that only works if you're aligned within the player development part of things. We are. His emotional maturity, his ability to get through the bad times and keep people on the ship when everybody else wants to jump is something that stood out to me. And he is a master of the game. Obviously, defense is his trade, but he's got a deep knowledge of special teams and offense. And I think more importantly, the toughness and the kind of attitude and competitive atmosphere that he will bring to this football team will speak for itself as we move down the road. Again, I'm not here to make predictions. That's not my job. But we're going to set a standard and a way of doing things early on. And as we move down the road, I have no doubt that will bring us to where we want to go in terms of win and losses. The culture of competition, hard work, resilience, and love for each other will bounce off the walls of this place day in and day out to where you can't deny what we're about. I thank you for your time. I'm excited for this journey. Let's go.
Let's go! Tell me that don't get you fired.
Teammate, I need your support.
I need your support. Happy Evelyn, can you elaborate on your comment by what you mean? By what you mean on your comment there? And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the link for Discord is pinned up to the top of the chat. Before we move on, I guess we'll go ahead and hit you guys with our regularly scheduled boring commercials, right? Or regularly scheduled boring commercials. Anyways, you guys can see up in the top right corner there's a QR code. The DCC is going on now all the way through February. Go, please, if you can, go make a donation. There's no donation too big or too small. We are battling cancer. We are so close to, right, the advancements in technology and the advancements in modern medicine. It's just right around the corner until somebody finds a cure for cancer, and then we can all stop losing loved ones to a battle. So it takes a community to make a difference. So if you can, hit that QR code, go make a donation. We're almost to we're less than $25 away from our first $500, and for every $500 that the AFC Eastie Boys can raise, I personally will be running 1 mile per $500 every day, all the way up until the 5K, doing what I can to help support this cancer research, because we're so close. I know we're so close. So if you can, go make a donation. If you don't like using the QR code, you can go check out our profile page. It's the link for that is also in our profile page. You'll also see our Discord link in that profile page. It's definitely a place that you want to be plugged into. You definitely want to be plugged into the AFC Eastie Boys Discord. Basically 24/7 access to our community. Great community we're trying to build of people that just want to talk about football. Bets, parlays, basically anything. Life, doesn't matter. We're just trying to build a community. So let's go. Hit that Discord link. And it's also how you can get up here and join the streams, right? You go through the Discord link, you join the voice channel, and then pow! You're up here with the AFC Eastie Boys, and you get to speak your mind. That's right. It's also where you'll want to be plugged into if you win any of our giveaways, because you have to be in the Discord so we could find you, so we could get a hold of you and send you your winnings. One of the current giveaways that we got going on right now, and we're super close to that as well. When we get to when we get to 500 subscribers, we have a Mike Gesicki 9x16 autograph photo from his rookie year that we're going to give out to one of you lucky subscribers. And it's super easy to win that. Basically, all you got to do, like as much as you can, comment as much as you can, share, spread the love. Once we hit 500 subscribers, I'm keeping receipts on everything that goes on with this channel. So we're going to select one lucky subscriber that's helped us grow or showed us some love, and it's going to go out to you. That's right. A nice 9x16 Gesicki photo. He's got the number 86 on. I know it's not his number 88, but that's because when we drafted him his rookie year, the number 88 was taken, so he had to wait till the next year to take it. So, great photo. We also, if you look in those links, if you're over there and you're looking in those links on our page, you can see another link called Charlie's Choice Collectibles. That's our little online shop where you can get all kinds of goodies. I'm telling you, man, everything for the football fan and non-football fan alike. It's definitely your one-stop shop for anything that you don't think that you could find in a Walmart, because this isn't stuff that you're going to find in Walmarts or Targets or anything like that. These are super rare finds, perfect gifts for any gifting occasion, and it's super cheap too. He's always got deals going on. It's also how you can get yourself a customized AFC EastieBoys jersey. We got those on the site as well. Those start at $35 depending on how customized you want it. Super cool jersey to represent your team and represent your favorite podcast as well. Anyways, yeah, that was it for. Thanks for watching our boring commercials. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, let's move on with this. Now we're going to get to see Jeff Hafley's little opening presser here.
It's nice when I don't have to adjust the microphone too much because we're very similar in size. It was that way in Green Bay too with Matt, so thank you, Sully. Thank you, Mr. Ross, and I'll get to the thank yous as we get going. I kind of want to talk a little bit before that because I'll probably get emotional, but
let's go and let's
I got to tell you, you kind of
baby.
saw the passion and how he got emotional and how he cares, and that's who he is. And this place is really lucky to have Sully as the GM, and he's a huge part of why I wanted to come here. I'm not one to write things down. I'm not one to sit up here with a detailed plan on what I'm going to say. I think for those that are going to listen to me and ask questions, what you see with me is what you get. It's going to come from the heart, it's going to be honest, and it's how I'm going to feel. I am truly humbled to stand here and be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and I take a lot of pride and responsibility in that. And over the last, really, 48 hours, I've had a lot of time to reflect on that and on my journey and really where I came from and how I got here. And the biggest thing that kept hitting me was people. It's the players, it's the coaches, and it's the families. And as I really go through it, it's all those lessons that I learned in all the places that I've been. I've had a little bit different journey. I started off coaching Division III football, worked my way up, went to the NFL, went back to college football, became a head coach, went back to the NFL, coordinated, and now I'm here. But here's what I learned. I started coaching Division III football, where I lined fields and cleaned helmets and did laundry, and I loved it. And what I learned was there's no job too small. And that's what you're gonna get from me every single day, because I learned how to work hard, like really hard. And there's no replacement for that, and there won't be here. And as I continued to move up, I learned a lot from a lot of coaches. I learned how to tell people the truth. I learned how to tell players the truth, even if it wasn't they wanted to hear. I learned that it's okay to tell a player you love them and to pour everything you can into them because they're going to give it right back to you. I learned how to be at my best when things get hard. And I learned that when things are good, that's when I got to put my thumb on them. I learned what it's like to hold people to an extreme level of accountability. I learned what toughness is about, and I learned how to grind. From Hall of Fame players, I learned that you can't be afraid to coach guys. Every good player wants to be told what to do and how hard to do it, and you can't back down because they all want to get better. I learned about alignment and that you have to have people's backs and you have to come together, which is a huge reason why I'm here today with this guy right here. I learned how to win, and unfortunately, I've taken some losses. But what I've learned, I'm going to get back up every single time. And so are those people that are around me every single day. And in doing that, I've kind of had the core beliefs which we're going to instill in this football team, into the players and into this organization. And the first one is trust. And a lot of people use that word lightly. I don't. And I think right now in the world we live in, a lot of people are slow to trust. It might be you, It might be the players, and that's all right, because I'm going to earn it. Because actions speak louder than words. I'm not going to be one to sit here and talk a lot, but I'm going to follow up with what I say I'm going to do. And so are our team. The next thing that I believe in is belief. And I think this is really powerful because it's a hard world right now where people read stuff, they see stuff, and you'd be surprised on how much insecurity there is with players, with coaches, with everybody. And I'm going to let those players know that I believe in them. And in turn, what you're going to see a group of guys that believe in themselves. And that becomes powerful. Because when they start to believe in themselves and our team starts to connect with each other, then look out. Because you get that connection, and then we want to talk about accountability, then we have accountability. And accountability is love. And it's an extreme level of accountability. And when we build a standard and it starts to become real, the players will start to hold themselves accountable. But that's going to start with me. And the final thing that I'm going to talk to them about every single day is toughness. That's physically, that's mentally, that's everything that we do. And it's a toughness that thrives on competition. And it's a toughness that reflects the people and the spirit of the city of Miami. And that's what I'm most excited about. And as we piece this thing together, it's going to take time, and there's going to be a lot of hard work. But then it's going to be built the right way, like the foundation that was laid for me when I was coaching Division III football, and I learned how to do things the right way. And that's how we're going to do it here, with a staff that's going to buy in and with a group of men that are going to give everything that they got. And I can look you guys in the eye and tell you, I cannot wait to get started. And now really to my thank yous, to Mr. Ross and your family, thank you for believing in me. I do not take that lightly, and I will do everything I can for you and your family. To everybody in this group, from Sully, to Brandon, to Troy, to Dan, to Danny, Tom, thank you guys for believing in me in this process. You guys put me through multiple interviews. We spent time talking to each other. We had multiple hard conversations on phone calls, but it was always the communication, and it was awesome. And I appreciate it. I want to thank all the coaches that I've ever been around, from WPI to Boston College to every NFL team, and I want to thank the players, because I wouldn't be here without those players. I learned more from players than I've learned from coaches, and I hope they feel that way with me, because the thing that I got into this for was changing lives. And there's so many of those players that changed my life too. I want to thank Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. The last 2 years have been two of the best of my life. He's a great football coach, he's a great friend, and he's going to have continued great success. I also want to thank those players there. In 2 years, we got real close. I mean, really close. The love, the connection, the support. It was hard to say goodbye to those guys, but the phone calls and the texts to you guys meant everything to me. I love you. I wish you the best, other than when we come to Lambeau next year. I want to thank my family, and this is why I saved it for the end. Hope and Leah. Hope's laughing now, so that's good. Leah. I thank you guys, and I thank Gina. And I can tell you this about Gina. Gina's not into this so she can walk around and tell people that she's married to the head coach of the Dolphins. She doesn't care. All she cares about is us, how I'm feeling, supporting me, and doing everything she can for those kids. I'm lucky today, too, because I got my mom, my sister, brother here today. Flying here to be with me means everything, and I thank him for that. And for my real coach, my dad, my first coach, who toughened me up and was there for me. I appreciate family more than you guys have any idea. And like I told you guys, I'm gonna wear it on my sleeve at times. I'm gonna be passionate. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, and you're gonna get everything I have. And to the city, to the fans, this is a storied organization, one of the best in all sports, and you deserve a winner. You guys deserve a winner. And I am going to do everything in my power to bring you guys that. I am so proud to be here, and I cannot wait to get started. Thank you.
I am ready to run through a freaking wall for these guys, right? I am so ready to run through a freaking wall for these guys. Tell me that these guys just don't get you fired up for the 2026 season. All the things they're saying, yes, they had a lot of time to prepare for this, and they know what they're supposed to say. But the passion, you can see it, Cap, right? You can see it, the passion. The passion is what we need. The ability to sit here and openly show emotion like that's not a bad thing. Don't hate on our new GM and our new coach because they got up in their pressers and they got emotional. That just shows passion for what they're doing. That shows that they've worked hard and they're finally in a position that they want to be in, and they're taking it seriously. Because if you weren't taking it seriously, we wouldn't have no reason to be emotional. There's no reason that we should be out here bashing these guys because they showed some emotion. One thing that the Miami Dolphins have always been good for, they've been good about family. And he said it right there. He's a big family man. And yes, Michael Desire, they have already So yesterday, Jeff Hafley had a nice little interview with Rich Eisen, and he stated that this weekend they're really close on hiring all three coordinators, and that we should see all three of them hired within the next few days. We saw Adam Schefter report late yesterday, that Chris Tibor is most likely going to become the Miami Dolphins special teams coordinator. He came from Buffalo, so that'll be cool having some interconference coach on our team, right? Division, I mean, not conference, division. He has insights on the Buffalo Bills, so whether he's the greatest choice, I don't know. I haven't really done any kind of research on Chris Tabor, but I do know that he's been a coordinator for quite a long time, so that's one good thing, I guess. He's got a lot of experience. And then not long ago, within the last couple hours, Bobby Slowick was named as Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator. And if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know that I've been pushing this for this guy since last year. I was really high on this guy last year. I wanted him to become our OC over the guy that we had, because honestly, we needed to clean house, and not just our head coach and our GM, but a lot of our coaching staff needed to get cleared out as well, and that's what they're doing. Now the last piece, right? The last piece that needs to fall into place as far as our coordinators go is that defensive coordinator job, which is the question right now, because Anthony Weaver was like having interviews for head coaching jobs. The one that was really he was most likely going to land was the Pittsburgh job. Well, they also announced that Mike McCarthy is their new head coach, so that means that Anthony Weaver is not getting the head coaching job at Pittsburgh. And we needed him to get a head coaching job so that we can kind of get compensatory picks from him, but that's not going to happen. So now, what does that mean for the Miami Dolphins? What does that mean for Anthony Weaver? Does that mean that we're going to see Anthony Weaver again on this team next year as our defensive coordinator? Possibly. He does have ties to Jeff Hafley, but it's not set in stone, right? It's not concrete that we get stuck with Anthony Weaver, because personally, I don't necessarily want Anthony Weaver on this team. I do want him to get a job so that he ends up somewhere else. But at the same time, Jeff Hafley also already said that he's going to be calling the plays on defense. So Anthony Weaver might not be bad, considering like he'll have a short leash, right? You know, he's kind of just a defensive coordinator that's there as a backup for if Jeff Hafley is too busy to be calling plays the whole game. So I don't know who our DC is going to be. There's been some news. There's been some articles coming out saying it could be that guy Tim Lebico that he played with, or not played with, but coached with in Boston College. Yeah, I'm so with you, Balake. Like I'm, bro. I feel like they hired the right guys too. These guys got me fired up. I'm ready to run through a wall for these guys. Like, just yes, they said the right things in their presser. The stuff that they were prepared for, right? All the right things. Now let's get to the questions. Stuff that they may not have been prepared for. If y'all are new here, y'all definitely want to smash that subscribe button. We got lots of content. We do lots of coverage. I do little secret interviews with Tyreek Hill. I found a lot of good information about Tyreek Hill. I got him to say some stupid stuff while he's streaming on his Twitch channel. I don't know why he lets me troll him like he does, but we also called Mike McDaniel getting fired the day that it happened, the day before it happened. All that stuff. So this is definitely your number one spot to get that Dolphin news when it happens. And we don't just cover the Miami Dolphins. We like to talk about all football because I just like talking football, and that's why I open up my Discord too, because I like hearing other people's opinions on things, because that's how you learn. So if anybody wants to get up here and join me, go ahead and hit that link. I want to hear your thoughts on the future of the Miami Dolphins and how excited or how unexcited you are for the 2026 season, even though we know it's not going to be a great season as far as wins and losses go, right? What did you say? It says the 2026 season can't be measured in wins and losses. This is only the beginning. It's 100% correct on your statement, Colasari. 100% correct. This season can't be measured on wins and losses, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be measured on progress. It's gonna be measured on player development. It's gonna be measured in the off season through training camp, seeing who emerges at the top and in the quarterback battle, right? Because Jeff Hafley yesterday on that Rich Eisen show said there will be a QB competition, whether it's between guys that are already on the team or between guys that are brought in. Now, he didn't necessarily say either or was for sure, but by that being said, does that mean that we're going to draft a quarterback this year? Most likely. Hopefully not early. Hopefully it's a late round flyer, just taking a jab at somebody, hoping they work out, bringing them into the competition in the QB room. Or is it going to be a free agent? I mean, you heard him talk about our cap situation. You heard him talking about how he's going to tackle free agency when they're able to. Because he already knows that, like, they don't have a lot of cap right now. So, digging into free agency, it's not a good option for us going out to try and get a guy like Malik Willis who could possibly cost anywhere up to $20 million a year just for a bridge quarterback. I don't think that's the way they go. But let's listen to some of the questions. You think Quinn is QB1 in 2026?
Hi, Hal Habib with the Palm Beach Post. First, I'd like to welcome both of you to South Florida.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you, when you were talking with Steve Ross over your two roles, how did he lay out his expectations, his vision for what you would accomplish? Obviously, I'm sure he mentioned winning many, many times, but how did he put it to you? Was there any kind of timetable that he expressed to you?
Liz,
Was there any recognition of the constraints you have with the salary cap? What can you tell us about
we
that?
really don't know.
Go ahead.
me and Rich, we don't know too much about the new head coach and the new. Well, we know a little bit more about the
GM.
The GM, yeah. So Rich has his doubts, and I'm kind of have my doubts too, because it seems like every time we get all hyped up, it seems like we get disappointed. You know what I mean? So I can't really get really excited about all this yet.
No, I totally understand, and I don't hate on any of our Dolphin fan base that is a little reluctant on these moves, right? Because we've seen this before. Like it's just it could just be the same old Dolphins just over and over again, and like all this could just be publicity, and just like I said, they're able to write their speeches ahead of time, so maybe they just know what to say in order to fire us up. But it's like me personally,
Yeah.
I just look at the guy's career, right? Let's look at Sully first. I just look at the guy's career, and if you look at the guy's career, he spent his whole career in one organization, and that organization was a winning organization. Whether we want to admit it or not, no, Green Bay hasn't won every single Super Bowl, but they've always been relevant. They've always been in the playoffs. They haven't had a quarterback issue in over 30 years. They constantly have decent players on their team, and they have success. And Sully was in Green Bay basically his whole career. He started at the bottom of player personnel and worked his way up until he was assistant manager of player personnel. And so basically he's only been in one position, and that sole position that he's been in is basically player evaluation. So he should be good at what he's doing. He should be a master at his craft, right? Because he hasn't been out there trying to learn how to do offensive coordinator things and things like that. He's been focusing on what Green Bay does and what Green Bay does best, and that is building through the draft. And Sully accentuated that in his opening presser statement, right? We want to build through the draft. We want to develop players, so on and so forth. And then you go and you look at Jeff Hafley, and Jeff Hafley's career, he's been around in a few other places, but he's moved up. He spent when he was in San Francisco, was it San Francisco or Pittsburgh Steelers? One of those. He actually, like, reports came out that he was sleeping under his desk for 2 years while he was working. To me, that shows mad commitment, right? Mad commitment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because, like, come on, let's be serious. Like, if you're not committed to your job, you're not sleeping at your job. I've been in his shoes. There's been moments where I was working and I was literally just sleeping at my job because I'm there 16 hours a day. It takes me 45 minutes to get home, 45 minutes to get back. I might as well just pass out here for a couple hours because I got to be back in another 3 hours anyway. So it's like, that's commitment. So I totally commend him for that, but I totally respect y'all's opinions and why you're weary, because it's so Dolphins, man. It is so Dolphins for us to look good in the off season and come out in the regular season and totally fumble the ball. I mean, we can take last year as a perfect example. Like, we looked pretty decent in the off season.
Rich knows about those long hours.
Yeah.
Rich knows about those long hours. He was a welder.
Oh, yeah, those people can have long hours. But Block A says, I have doubts, but I'm definitely fired up and do believe these guys have the ability to turn things around. Let's let them cook. Yes, let's let them get in that kitchen and cook. Miami Dolphins fan from Austin, Texas. Well, I'm glad you found us. I'm glad you joined in. But yes, let's keep going through these questions here, ladies and gentlemen.
You can start it.
Sure. So what I would say to you right from the jump, and my communications with Stephen Ross was, like I said, the desire to win. But he made it very
he
clear.
wants to know,
I mean, quite frankly, his words to me were,
he
if you
was
don't get this done.
Basically, he was a glorified scout, but he was a really good scout because Green Bay's had a lot of good players on the team.
Yeah, basically, I mean...
Always, but...
Yeah, I mean, basically, he's a glorified scout, but now he's even Yeah, now he's a glorified scout because he's a general manager. But his sole purpose is basically scouting and player evaluation.
That will benefit the Dolphins though, because we've been getting some pretty shitty players.
Ain't that right?
You will never be able to say it was because you didn't have the resources.
Somebody that
which
actually
tells
knows
me
what he's
everything I
looking
need to
for,
know.
what the Dolphins actually friggin' need.
I think we all
instead
know
of
that every place
just
is not
getting,
like that.
oh wow, this guy looks
I
okay.
come from a place,
Yeah.
the last 22
which is so
years,
Dolphins.
it's all about winning. Every decision we make is about winning. And I could feel that from Steven and Danny and Tom and everybody that was involved in the process
What's going on with his
from the
face right
jump.
now?
And so, yes, there were some more specific things that were talked
It
about,
froze a
but at
little
the end of
bit.
the day, the burning desire to win and his ability to articulate how important
You're
it
just sitting
was
there
and what he was
blankly
willing to do
staring
to
at
get
the
there
camera.
spoke volumes to me. I, to be perfectly honest with you, of course, I wanted to be a general manager in the National Football League, but I was.
Happy Evelyn, can you speak more on what you mean by that? After 18 years of Ross, we're closer than ever to an expansion team. I think the NFL is pretty close to having expansion teams, but I don't think Miami is going to go anywhere. I would really like to hear your thoughts on that. Go more in detail on what you mean, please.
Wasn't leaving to go just anywhere. The place that I worked at afforded me that flexibility. This was very attractive to me because of Steven, his desire to win, and the things he's willing to do to get us there.
Good answer.
Hi, Tim Reynolds with the AP. To echo Hal, and I'm sure everyone else, welcome to South Florida. Jeff, I wanted to ask you, you talked about your journey and the D3 start. How different, I guess, are you, or what do you still take from Sienna and Ed Zaloom and Bob Ford? And surely you didn't
The only
envision
downfall
this,
about
but I guess how much
Discord
of that
is I
guy
can't
is
see the
still
YouTube
within
chat.
you?
Yeah.
What you took from those times?
Oh yeah.
One, thank you for bringing them up.
I wish they would
I talked to
make
Ed
it so
Saloom,
they
probably,
could do
he
that.
texts me before almost every game.
I'm sure
and
they're
that's
smart
the
enough
head
to do it.
coach who was at WGI.
They just never probably thought
and then
about
Bob
it.
Ford is one of the.
No, I think that's something I gotta set up personally. I gotta figure out how to do all that extra stuff. But I haven't like there's
I didn't know that was
things,
an option.
Yeah, no, it's probably like a extension that I just have to add to our Discord channel and our Discord server. I just haven't had time to like really explore a bunch of different things as far as that goes. But at some point, once I get more time freed up in my schedule, which is coming pretty soon, I should be getting some more time freed up. I'll be able to do some of the extra things that are required in order to make the stream and the channel much more seamless and better for all of the viewers. Like I said, y'all should definitely smash that subscribe button. We have a lot of things coming. I'm working on intro videos that are basically songs, because you can see the name of our channel, right? The AFC Eastieeboys. It's definitely named after the Beastie Boys. So just to give you a little hint of what our intro video might be intergalactically about.
Well, yeah, I used to listen to them all the time when I was younger.
Intergalactic.
I'm Gen X, so.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things I'm trying to work on. We're working on getting it to where we can multi-stream as well. Like, so we'll be streaming to Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube all at the same time. We also got a new show cooking. With Only the Real Survive, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new show cooking called Cooking with the Real. That's right. It's most likely going to be Sundays. Basically just cooking some good food and talking some good football. So y'all want to make sure y'all are tuned in for that. I always drop breaking news videos. We make jokes. Yeah, just hit the subscribe button. Let's keep going with these questions.
Winningest coaches in all of football. He took Albany from Division III to 2 to 1AA all the way to 1, and he's one of the best to ever do it. I learned everything from those guys. It's what I just talked about. It laid my foundation. It taught me how to work hard. It taught me how to treat people. And it taught me how to coach the game of football, the fundamentals, the technique. And it told me there was no shortcuts, right? I wasn't a guy who
So who do you think
all
is
of a
going to
sudden
win the
started
Super Bowl?
coaching and I was sitting here in the
Personally, I
NFL.
think it's
I had
the
to work,
Seahawks.
and I had really good role models to look to
I'm
do
taking the
that.
Rams.
And I would do it no other way.
A friend of
And what I
ours,
take from that,
he's going for the Rams.
that's how the foundation's going to be built here. And it has to be. And it's got to be built on fundamentals and technique. And it has to be built on
when the
hard work.
Seahawks had
And those
Brian
are the things that I'm
Bosworth.
glad I
That's
learned because nothing
a
was
while
easy for
ago.
me.
And Warren
And it's
Moon.
not going to be.
Yeah, it
But if
was
you
a
do
while
things
ago.
right and you surround yourself with the right people and you
Well,
bring
being
that
raised
energy that
in-
they had
Born
and
and
pour that
raised
love
in
into them
Washington,
like they
you
did
know
to
those
me,
things.
then look
Yeah,
out.
I wasn't really into football then, but I knew who they were.
Jeff, I wanted to ask you about your experience as a head coach at Boston College. What did you learn from that experience, and why
Just
did
like
you
I know Kurt
eventually leave,
Cobain
go
is
back
from
to the
Seattle.
NFL?
Yeah, a 40-year-old
Oh, yeah?
head coach who, we just left the playoffs at Ohio State where I was the coordinator.
Nirvana?
And my first week on the job, or my first month on the job, COVID hits. So I had to learn that everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face, and I got punched pretty hard. And what I learned about myself is you can get through anything if you get organized, you get detailed, and you go one step at a time and you just go to work. And you surround yourself with a really good staff, and you pour into your players, and you bring that energy. And I learned a ton. I had to do a lot there. I had to do academics. I had to worry about nutrition and residence halls and everything you can name it and deal with the Board of Regents, and I had to be a CEO. And I'll take a lot with that from there to me here. I made mistakes, right, as a young coach, which you're going to make in a lot of different ways, and I learned from them over those 4 years. We had some hard years. We had some really good years. But I think those experiences will help me out a lot as I go forward, and I've grown and I've matured, and I have learned, and I can admit those mistakes, and I grow from them so they won't happen again here. So I take a lot with me for those 4 years, and I wouldn't trade them. Why did I leave? At the end of the day, I wanted to coach football.
Arthur Smith has just been named the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator.
And there was a lot going on that really wasn't allowing me to do that anymore. The landscape had changed with NIL and the portal and everything
Sorry, I
else
was
that
trying to
came
figure out
in.
how,
And when
because on
Matt
my
called
end,
with
I
an
can watch
opportunity,
the
that was really
screen
hard
while
for
you're
me to
talking,
leave. Really hard
but
to leave
I
the staff, to
accidentally
leave
hit
the
it, and
players.
so I was trying to figure out how to turn
But
it
talking
off.
to my
I
wife
finally
and
did,
really
though.
thinking things through, I want to coach football. It's all I ever dreamed of. And I wasn't doing that anymore, and I didn't feel like I was myself anymore, so we
Yeah.
decided it was what was
It
best.
says,
and
it's
ultimately,
got the picture
I wanted
of
to be
the
a head coach
interview,
again in
and
this
then it
league.
says watch stream.
So I bet on
Well, I
myself.
accidentally hit
I
it,
took
and
the
then
job,
it popped up
and
and
now I'm sitting here.
put you like in the corner.
Hey, Dave Hyde of the Sun Sentinel. John Eric, you both you guys are obviously from Green Bay, and you bring that mindset, the ideas. Could you just talk? And you did a little in the opening of what the Green Bay way is, or what you two hope to bring here.
Sure. I think in terms of player
So
acquisition.
the guy on the right is John Eric, isn't it, right?
The one on the right is
The one on the right.
Halfley. The one on the left.
Oh, that's Halfley.
Yeah, if we're looking straight at it, the guy on the right is Halfley, and the guy on the left is John Eric Sullivan. But I just want to point out real quick that guy was horrible at questions. Y'all should definitely let me take his place for future pressers and questioning of our coaches and our players, please, because that guy's question was horrible. Let's move on. Hopefully somebody important is listening.
You should be doing the interview.
Yeah, I want to, right?
Principles and philosophy. It's I'm being a little bit redundant, so forgive
Yeah,
me if
because
there's
you would
frustration level out
give
there.
them
But
all the
what
tough
we've always done
questions
is
and
built
not
through
let
the
them
draft.
wiggle,
Again, it's
wiggle
about culture.
out of
Now, we
it
have certain
without
principles and
answering it.
pillars within how we approach the draft that I won't get into.
I
'cause
noticed
don't want
that
to give
a
away
lot with the press.
the secrets
And
to
not
the
just
sauce,
the
so to
football
speak.
press either.
But we're going to build through the draft. We're going to retain our.
Yeah, and a lot of that is too. I think some of it has to do with questions presented. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that's how it works, but I think that you have to like you get some of your questions approved and stuff. Like they're not going to answer certain things, but it really just
It all depends.
yeah, it really just depends. It's like in a situation like this, I'm sure that they have like certain things they're not allowed to ask about. They probably are given a list of things like, hey, these are like things you can't ask, or they're not going to answer it, yada yada. But it's like when Rich Eisen was interviewing Jeff Hafley yesterday, he asked him about the quarterback situation, and Hafley kind of answered it in a way that, you know, it's like, hey, I didn't want to answer this question, so I'm kind of just going to beat around the bush because I haven't had a chance to actually talk with any of our quarterbacks or players or anything yet. So it's like, I definitely would love to.
Well, yeah, because he pretty much just walked in the door.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he hasn't had time to not only talk to him, but evaluate him either.
Yeah, because yesterday was
and then,
technically his first day in the building.
Yeah.
Own players, if at all possible.
I can understand that
culture
because,
piece
you know,
of it.
sometimes you don't
I
have
think
the
that
answer
has
to it.
allowed
But to be
Green Bay
honest,
to have sustained
wouldn't it
success
be
over
more
time.
sincere
And then
if
again,
you
there's a
say,
financial
well,
component, rookie
right
contracts,
now
all
I
that kind of thing.
don't have
We
the
will
answer for that. I mean, it doesn't
utilize
make
free
you look
agency.
stupid
We
or
have to
anything.
get
It
back
just
to a
means that,
spot
hey,
within
I
the
haven't
salary cap that'll allow us to
addressed
do
this
that,
yet.
and we will.
That's how I would.
But I think if you look over the years,
You know, if there
at
was
the
a question I was
intentionality of
asked
which
and I
they've
didn't
gone about it,
know the
you know,
answer, I
Ted,
just tell them I
Charles
don't have
Woodson,
the answer to that right
you know,
now.
when Brian Gutekunst first took the
Talk to me
job, we were
later
a little
about
more
it.
active with how we went.
Yeah, that's kind of how he answered it, and not exactly the same wording, but pretty much the same. Like, I don't really have the answer for that now, but this is what I can give you, basically.
A little more active to kind of jumpstart the roster. Zadarius Smith, who was an All-Pro that year. Preston Smith, who finished his Green Bay tenure with 37.5 sacks. Obviously, Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney the years before. So we're not just checking boxes so that we can look busy. We're intentional about the caliber of player and then what they bring to the locker room. You can't have good culture
Now, I was
if you
talking
got
to
guys
Rich,
that aren't bought in
Peter
and
Dosey,
wired
he
right
does
for what you're trying to
news,
build. And so that's
political
what I
news
would
and stuff
say
like
is
that.
we're going to
Now,
build through the draft and we'll be very
he
selective.
always asks the hard questions.
Who is it?
Peter Dosey, Dosey or something like that.
He always asks the hard questions, you say?
Yeah,
agree with
well,
it?
politically.
That's too bad.
Like and subscribe
I think he would
anyways.
make a
Like and
good
subscribe
interviewer
anyways.
for football, too.
All right,
But he
football
just
fans,
says
listen
political
up.
stuff.
Forget the trade deadline. Forget the free agency frenzy because we have the most important piece of NFL news you will
Because he
hear
gets you
all
to talk
season.
even though you don't want to talk. He knows how to word it where you can actually slip something in there that you don't want to be slipped.
Welcome in, Sank Boss. How are you today? I'm glad you joined in on the conversation. How do you feel about the state of the Miami Dolphins right now?
This is Anthony.
Say again?
This is Anthony. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's good,
Can you hear
Anthony?
me?
Yeah. We can hear you. Talk to
Yeah,
us.
no, honestly, for me, honestly, Kat, honestly, I like the fact that he's saying he's going to go back to the old school way of building a team through the trenches and stuff like that. And he's not going to care about the entertainment. This is where we're going to start losing fans who came because of the entertainment factor of the team.
Okay. I see that.
Good riddance.
Yeah.
And
keep going.
If they're just in it for the entertainment, then they shouldn't be a football fan.
No, but I thought football is a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean,
no, these are Dolphins fans, but they're these are hardcore Dolphins fans that wanted, like, they were in it for the entertainment factor, like, of our quarterback throwing like for 4,000 yards or something crazy. And to be honest, that's what hurt us in the long run with Tua. Instead of going out to play action and running it through the running game and stuff like that, they focus on this short passing game way too much. He should have been a quarterback that we build like a play. He's a play action quarterback in the NFL. He's not one of these spread quarterbacks that has the arm to constantly be doing that. Kat, you agree?
Yeah, no, 100% agree. But at the same time, like if we lose a few fans this year because they're afraid of the entertainment factor being gone, good riddance. Let them go, because at the end of the day, like these guys are doing something to make this team better. And yes, it may not be super entertaining next year, but it's going to be entertaining as hell once we're relevant again, right? And once we're like fighting in the playoffs, and once we're like possibly heading towards a Super Bowl or running the AFC East and taking it away from the Patriots or the Buffalo Bills, or not letting the New York Jets sneak up and become relevant in the AFC East, right? Because if they don't play their cards right this offseason,
I think Drake May is a flash in the pan, to be honest.
I said that too. But if they don't play their cards right this season, right, in this offseason with the draft and the free agency and the cap hell that we're in, if they don't play the cards right, we could easily be the worst team in the AFC East because of the pieces and the draft capital that the Jets have. They could easily surpass us next year.
Kat and Lee, do you guys trust that the Jets are going to make the right choice? Like they've had multiple picks before in the draft, and they've failed before. So how incompetent Woody Johnson is going to get involved and tell him to draft who he wants and stuff like that?
Well, hopefully he's learning from the Miami Dolphins right now, and he's not going to insert his input, and he's going to let his team take care of it, and hopefully let Aaron Glenn have some input, because I do think they got a good coach over there with Aaron Glenn. He seems to have gotten his team bought into him, right? Like, they didn't win a lot of games last year, but at the same time, like, they didn't lose a lot of games last year either. If you look at it, like, they were in all of the games that they were playing.
Oh, by the way, did you like to hire Bobby Slowick?
Oh, I fucking love to hire a Bobby Slowick, bro. I was pushing for Bobby Slowick since last year. I wanted us to get rid of Frank Smith and elevate Bobby Slowick, because I saw what he did in Houston. I saw what he did with the Houston Texans, and now everybody else can see how the
is he a traditional West Coast? Like, this is on his question. Is like, I know there's a Shanahan West Coast and like a Mike McCarthy West Coast. Is what Slowick is gonna? Is he the traditional old school West Coast Bill Walsh, like that type of?
Yes. So
like where it's gonna be a fullback or like a two-back system, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So like Jeff Hafley and Bobby Slowick worked with each other back in San Francisco. They worked together for 2 years in San Francisco. Mike McDaniel, he actually worked with Mike McDaniel too in Cleveland, believe it or not. But yeah, so Bobby Slowick.
Who do you think are and Kat? I've said this too. I like that he's a defensive coach, but this is what has hurt the Dolphins. Also, we hire a defensive coach, and he wants to call plays. Why not just have him be the CEO and let I know it's his scheme and stuff like that, but we need to allow these guys to build the roster how they want it, instead of how am I going to say that? Like, this is what has hurt the Dolphins. We've hired defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, and they call their own plays instead of allowing the coordinators to do the job and stuff like that.
And he actually addressed this yesterday in that interview with Rich Eisen. If you haven't had a chance to check out that interview that Rich Eisen had with Jeff Halfley,
I watched portions of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a good interview from Rich Eisen for sure. But he actually already said that he said that he plans on calling plays on the defensive side of the ball, but he will have a defensive coordinator there to help him out and basically be his backbone,
No, but
so to
that's
say.
the issue with the Dolphins. Like, that's the issue for me. That's the issue. Constantly doing this with the Dolphins. Like, I want Halfley to be the head coach and control everything, and let the coordinators do their job instead of having to micromanage the defense.
I feel you, and like that's the way it should run, right? But like it doesn't always run like that. Like let's look at Kansas City Chiefs for example. Like Andy Reid calls the plays over there. It wasn't Matt Nagy, it was Andy Reid. But we also seen without Eric Bieniemy, like when Eric Bieniemy was there, Eric Bieniemy was calling the plays, and that's when they were like their most electric, Kansas City. And then Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, and this is the perfect. I'm going to use a perfect example of this. Like, there's rumors actually that can't remember who he was connected to, but they're saying there's openings that are looking at Mario Cristobal to be their head coach in the NFL.
Mario Cristobal?
The head coach for the Hurricanes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like...
Yeah, and because look at what he's done with the line of scrimmage, and I think that's the reason why the development of the line of scrimmage and stuff like that. And I can see the Dolphins trying to steal Jason Taylor from the Hurricanes.
No, that would be great if we can get Jason Taylor in over here to be our linebacker coach. That would be pretty cool.
Or defensive line, you mean? Defensive line, you mean?
Isn't he the linebacker coach over there in Miami?
No, he's a defensive line.
Oh, I thought he was a linebacker coach.
He's the edge rusher coach and stuff like. And Kat, do you agree with people saying that these guys? It seems like they're very awkward when they're doing these interviews. Like they're very like nervous and stuff like that. Like they don't know what to say.
Emotional?
Sullivan and not emotional. Like they're not comfortable. It seems like in general, Green Bay coaches were never really known for being great, like doing press conferences and stuff like that. McCarthy wasn't like that. Neither was Holmgren. And Matt LaFleur is very awkward when you see him do interviews. He doesn't he doesn't know how to. It's not that they don't know how to answer questions correctly. What is the term? When they answer the questions, the phrasing feels off. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Kind of. But it's also to like they're trying. It's their first questions, their first press conference in this new team and these new roles, right? Neither one of them have technically been in this type of role ever. So they're just, I feel like it's just them trying to make sure that they say the right thing and they don't say something completely batshit crazy right off Jump Street, you know? Like we need to prove that we are the guys before we go and we say some stupid shit that they mutilate us for on the internet, you know what I mean? So that might be what you're talking about, where there's like a little bit of hesitation here and there because like they're trying to make sure they're in their mind they're probably like 3 words ahead of themselves, like when they're speaking.
Yeah, it feels like they're overthinking.
Yeah,
kind of.
Which should be natural in this moment of their in the stage that they're in right now. I feel like that should be a natural thing for them. It just shows. It just even shows further that they're trying to do the right thing, right? That they're trying to do what's best for the organization.
And you know what I like? Actually, I read somewhere that they're not going to alienate the press, but they're not going to leak everything to the press. Where they're bringing that Packard mentality where when's the last time you can remember there being major leaks in that front office in Green Bay?
Major leaks?
Yeah, where stuff that's happening like with the draft or free agency leaks out to the media is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't think ever that I can remember for sure. I mean, I don't really follow the Green Bay Packers too closely, but
No,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think these two guys are gonna bring that Packers mentality where, like, what's it called? They're gonna hire the right press people to not leak everything, like protect the in-house stuff that's supposed to stay in-house stays in-house instead of leaking and causing more controversy and stuff like that.
So do you think what you're saying is they're going to prevent Tua from getting in front of a microphone?
Yeah. No, and I feel they had that Belichick mentality where Belichick never said shit.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I love everything I've heard from these guys so far. I'm literally ready.
Oh, did you like the assistant GM hire?
Yes, I saw that. I have not got a chance to look at the guy yet, like as far as career-wise or anything, any kind of accomplishments he's done. That's something that I'll do.
He's one of these guys like he's a well-respected, like, he's one of these guys that's been around the league for a while in multiple franchises. I think the last couple of years he's been with the Seahawks.
Okay. And that's not a bad place to be. We've seen them go up and down. Like they haven't been. They're not always a great team.
Every team has lulls. You agree?
Yeah. They have spurts. Like Seattle's definitely been one of those teams where it's like they're not always relevant, but they definitely have moments where they're relevant. Like look at this year. Like
this year,
definitely look like a dominating team in the NFL, even with a guy that's possibly just a scrub.
Do you think we're gonna cut both Tua and Tyreek like after June 1st?
Well, if we are gonna cut Tyreek, we're gonna cut Tyreek in early March. Because if we don't, then he's got guaranteed money.
Wait, do we get bigger cap hit if we cut him after June?
That's only pertains to Tua Tagovailoa. The way that Tyreek Hill's contract is structured, we would have to cut him before March if we want to save any type of money, because as soon as March, I think it's March 18th hits, we owe him like
these bigger contracts are going to screw these guys.
But the AFC Eastieeboys and Cat in the Hat has got every one of you guys covered, right? Because I already had an interview and I already had a conversation with Tyreek Hill. And when I asked Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill expressed emotion and expressed widely that he wants to return to Miami and he wants to be a Miami Dolphin. Now, granted, when he said this and when he showed these emotions and said these things, this was before Mike McDaniel got fired, all right? Before Mike McDaniel got fired, he also stated when I asked him, hey, would you be willing to restructure your contract to stay in Miami? His first immediate response was, yes, anything. And then he paused, and then he said, well, I haven't had the chance to talk to my family about that yet. So, Tyreek Hill, has already said that he is willing to restructure. And then I don't remember what interview it was, but I do remember hearing Jeff Hafley say that he is possibly wanting to restructure Tyreek Hill's contract. So I think we could see it work out to where Tyreek Hill stays in Miami, unless Tyreek Hill has changed his mind since the Mike McDaniel firing and everything that's going on. Although it's like, I don't know how you can't look at this team right now and be excited to be part of it. But at the same time, if you're Tyreek Hill, like, you're looking at this like, man, this is a 2-3 year window to before we're fighting in the playoffs again. And you saw that tweet from Tyreek Hill 3 days ago saying that I miss playing in the playoffs, dog. Playoff football is so fun. He tweeted that 3 days ago. He also tweeted, Mike to the Chargers. EB to the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So Tyreek Hill's definitely a troll, and we gotta like take everything he says with a grain of salt, but at the same time, like, there is truth behind everything he says. You just have to pick apart and read between the lines. So I would love to see Tyreek Hill return to the Miami Dolphins. I would not love to see Tua return to the Miami Dolphins. Hopefully we can figure out some way to get rid of him without it costing the Miami Dolphins $1 million. Well, $1 million is downplaying it by a whole lot. All of you guys understand. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty contract details. I'm pretty sure we all already know what that looks like in that landscape and everything. So
Yeah, Tyreek likes red herrings. He likes dropping red herrings. Cliffhangers.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said though, like he definitely he says things sometimes, and it's like that's why I like questioning him while he's on his Twitch streams playing video games, because he's really vulnerable. He is super vulnerable in those moments. I hate to take advantage of it, but he won't give me an actual interview on my channel, so I got to get my interviews however the heck I can, right? And he's super vulnerable when he's on his Twitch streams, and he'll sometimes say things he probably shouldn't have. Like, he admitted, whether he was trolling or not, I asked him, hey, I heard through the grapevine, this was my question to him, right? I heard through the grapevine that Jalen Ramsey slapped the shit out of Mike McDaniel. Is that true? His response was, he slapped the taste out of Mike's mouth. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt.
Damn.
Take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen.
That's down if that's true, though.
But it's only on the AFC Eastieeboys that you get content like that, and it's only in my Discord that you get to see some of the sneaky content, because I haven't put everything out on the Tyreek Hill interviews. I got all kinds of stuff, and I can share it in my Discord if requested, but I can't put it out there in the world.
I wonder if Tyreek plays COD.
No, he plays Fortnite, unfortunately. He plays Fortnite and Madden and basketball. But
I never thought.
Go ahead.
To be honest, I never would think that he would play Fortnite. I mean, basketball, football, yes, but Fortnite.
Come on, why not play COD? Like, I'm not a Fortnite fan either. I really don't like Fortnite. I've played Fortnite probably like 4 whole matches in the whole time it's ever been out, and my first 2 matches I got first place, and so I was kind of like, well, this is not a game for me. It's way too easy. And then later I found out I was playing bots, and it's like, oh, well, that explains why I got first place, right? You know, this game takes 0 skill whatsoever. I'm going back to Call of Duty. It's way better. But the only reason I tried it was because, like, I wanted to eventually maybe get to play with Tyreek Hill, like, during his streams and stuff, because he does play with viewers. If anybody ever wants to go and play a game with Tyreek Hill, you just got to tune into his Twitch, wait for him to come on live, and, like, he will play with you. You may have to make a bet to play a basketball game or play a football game, but he'll play with you. You heard it here first, ladies.
Yeah, our son, he's really good at COD. I mean, wicked good. I mean, I could never really get into the. I'm more of a Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I like the old school stuff too, but I love me some COD. I love me some COD. It's just
the only problem
a good
with
way for me to relieve
Call of Duty
some stress.
for me. The only reason why I don't play Call of Duty is because of the fact I keep on getting killed. I mean, every time I try it, like a second in and I'm dead. And I'm just like, you know what?
You gotta have really good internet connection, because some of these people playing on computers, they got like mods in there. They got mods set up, and they got super high fast internet. So it's like I've definitely noticed a difference in different internet situations. Like if I'm playing in different places, like you can see the difference. and COD, especially if you're in small maps. Especially if you're in a small map,
Yeah.
and you got a full server. It can, if you don't have a really good connection, it can get really laggy for sure. But
I watch our son on Twitch play it.
But ladies and gentlemen, this has I gotta end it for today. I gotta start cooking some dinner and stuff for the kiddos. Start doing things. We're gonna play some D&D tonight. But we will be on again tomorrow to talk more about our new coach, our new general manager. Hopefully we'll have our third coordinator named by tomorrow morning. We can talk about that as well, whether it's going to be Anthony Weaver, whether it's going to be Tem Labuko, whether it's going to be Shugin, oh, what's that guy's name? He has a name with two G's in it. Sean Duggan. There we go. Whether it's going to be him. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments, who y'all think our DC could end up being, whether we get stuck with Weaver or he brings in someone else and just lets Weaver go. And don't forget, smash that like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. You won't regret it, I promise you. If you're new here, definitely smash that subscribe button. If you can, go support Dolphins Cancer Challenge. This is our second year running. This is their 16th year running. They're trying to raise $100 million since year one. We are $25 away from our first $500. And for every $500, I'll be running 1 mile per $500 every single day, all the way up until the 5K. So let's make a difference together, ladies and gentlemen. There's no donation too big or too small to make a difference.
I pray to God that we don't get Weaver again.
Also, make sure, if you haven't already, go check out our Discord. You can find the link pinned at the top of the chat, or you can find the link in our profile page. Definitely want to be plugged into the Discord. We're trying to build a great community for football fans who just want to talk football, maybe put together some bets, some parlays, talk through it. It's also how you get up here on the show, like Liz and Anthony earlier, and you see Cap for Life and Only the Real Survive come up here. That's how you get up here and you get to talk and speak your mind with the AFC Eastieeboys. It's also where you want to be plugged into if we have giveaways, right? Because in order to win, we got to be able to contact you to find out where to send your winnings. So if you're not in the Discord, you're automatically disqualified from any of our giveaways. And we have a giveaway going on right now for when we hit 500 subscribers. One of you lucky fans out there is going to get a nice Mike Gesicki autographed photo, a 9x16 photo of him hurdling over a dude in his rookie year. We're going to send it out to one of you lucky viewers. One of you that shows us the most love. It's super simple. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're in the Discord, and then like, share, comment, share, spread the love. I'm keeping track. I'm keeping receipts, and I know who's showing us love, and I'm gonna choose one of you lucky fans out there, and we're gonna ship that out to you. And then also, of course,
Oh, Miss Fins would love that.
Yeah, I've already told her. She's been spreading the love too. We've also got the Charlie's Choice collectibles. If you're ever needing a gift for somebody and you don't want to get some kind of traditional gift that they could find at Walmart or Target, Charlie's Choice Collectibles is the place to be for all of your antiques, your sports memorabilia, your Pokemon cards, comic books, like all kinds of different things that you don't necessarily find in stores or online. Always deals going on. It's also the only place you're going to find one of your nice customized AFC Eastieeboys jerseys. Go ahead and order yours today. Just send them a little message. Be like, hey, I want one of them nice customizable AFC Eastieeboys jerseys. They're starting at only $35, depending on how customized you want it. But yes, so make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Turn that notification bell on. Tune in tomorrow for Cooking with the Real so we can continue talking Miami Dolphins football. Because, like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we know 2026 may not be pretty, right? The schedule is definitely a tough one. We know it may not be pretty. but we can be fired up and we can be excited because there's finally change within this organization. We have something to look forward to. These guys are going to put us in the right direction. So let's stay fired up, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, Fins for the win, baby. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.
All right, football fans, listen up. Forget the trade deadline, forget the free agency frenzy, because we have the most important piece of NFL news you will hear all season.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.